All right, let's get it going. We're going to do this in one take. Woo! The Jets have right now $8 million in cap space, and they have to spend about $7 million on their draft class. So translation, we got no money. We got to find some. Well, number one, Dwayne Brown's going to retire. Carl Lawson, $15 million. That's too much. Goodbye. Corey Davis, $11 million. Thank you for your service. We're going to save that by cutting you. We're also going to move on from Jordan Whitehead. Braxton Berrios is going to be a post-June 1st cut. Braden Mann, see you later. We're going to do some restructuring on some guys we want to keep here, but save some cap money. We're going to restructure Laken Tomlinson, JFM, and CJ Mosley. All of those moves per overthecap.com will net the Jets $66 million to go ahead and spend on retaining their own free agents and bringing in some players from other teams. First things first, Quinnen Williams, he deserves the bag, and we're going to give it to him. Quinnen Williams is going to get a 5-year, $110 million extension, make him about the second highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL. Now, here's the thing. This extension is actually going to save the Jets some cap money in 2023. It'll be a lower charge than his 5th-year option would have been, kind of like the Buffalo Bills did with Von Miller, like a $5 million cap hit to begin, and then you creep up that salary as the salary cap increases, so that saves us some money, and Quinnen Williams gets some long-term security. Everybody wins. I'm also going to extend one more player. Bryce Huff, slap the tender on him? No. I don't want to tender. I want to make this dude a Jet before everybody else in the league finds out how good he is. 3 years, $13 million. That's the same exact contract we gave to veteran situational edge rusher Jacob Martin. He gets paid. We get a really good player for a few years. Everybody's happy. Now, some pending free agents that we want to keep. Staying on the defensive line. Who's playing next to Quinnen Williams? Sheldon Rankins, unheralded member of this Jets pass rush, I believe. 2 years, $13 million. We're going to keep Sheldon Rankins a Jet. Now, not all these contracts, the annual value will not be the same as the cap hit, but I double-checked it all with Spot Track, so if you want to check my math on it, we're going to spend a lot of money. We're going to have some fun. Now, Quincy Williams, we're going to keep him a Jet too. 3 years, $13 million to get it done. You don't misses some tackles. Okay, not great in coverage, but he keeps getting better every year. Speedy, fast, physical. I like Quincy. We're going to keep him here. Quan Alexander, ditto that. 1 year is $2 million. A backup linebacker. Love it. Stayed healthy all year for the first time in a long time. Quan Alexander stays a Jet. Nate Herbig, backup swing guard. Before he got hurt, he was playing really admirably. 1 year, $4 million to keep him here. Mike White, backup quarterback. 1 year, $3 million. Anyone paying him more than that? I don't think so. I don't think you can trust Zach to be your number 2 quite yet. We're going to add another quarterback, obviously, but I think Mike White is fine as your backup, and Zach Wilson is still developing, resetting as your quarterback 3. Greg Zerloin, he makes kicks. We haven't had that in a while. We're going to keep him here. 1 year, $3 million, and we're also going to give a 1 year, $2 million deal to 2 Jets who have been much maligned, but actually had really good seasons in their limited roles this year, being Nathan Shepard, defensive tackle, and Ty Johnson, running back. All right, we still got a little bit over $50 million in salary cap space to spend. We're going to let some other guys walk, though. We're not going to give any of that to Connor McGovern, $12 million. Too much. George Fant, you're hurt. Good luck, sir. LaMarcus Joyner, Audio, Solomon Thomas, Vinny Curry, Jeff Smith. No, thank you. Those men are all going to find jobs with other teams this season. Now, with this remaining cap space, we got to go big game hunting. We got to get ourselves a quarterback. Okay, we called the Baltimore Ravens on Lamar. They said kick rocks. We called Aaron Rodgers. He was high on ayahuasca. We even went to sell our soul for Tom Brady, but it didn't work out. So we ended up with Derek Carr. Yeah, I know. Everyone's saying Derek Carr is what it is. He's the most likely option. If I said somebody else, I would just be trying to be different. We know the stats. We know who he is. The pros are he's Derek Carr. The cons are he's Derek Carr. But you get some durability and stability and a floor of competence at the quarterback position that the Jets haven't had in forever. Derek Carr, he's a New York Jet. It's going to cost 4 years, $125 million, but a modest cap hit of $15 million in year 1 still gives us a lot of flexibility moving forward. Staying on offense, who's blocking for Derek Carr? Well, how about Isaac Semialu? Guard, Philadelphia Eagles. 2 year, $24 million deal. He's a damn good guard. Not an elite guard, but a damn good guard. 29 years old. Still a lot of tread left on those tires. Durable. Really good in the run game. He's going to come in here. Now, you may be saying, wait a minute. We didn't cut Laken Tomlinson. We got AVT. He has paid big money to a guard. Yes, well, in this mock-off season, it's hinging on AVT playing tackle at a high level. Now, if you can't do that, my plan sucks. We need a different plan. But in this plan, that's what we're going with. I think AVT has a higher ceiling at guard, yes, but tackle is more valuable than guard. Tackle is harder to fill than guard. So AVT is going to move to right tackle. And now we have hopefully a better version of Laken Tomlinson along with Isaac Semialu next year. We have 3 spots of our offensive line filled. We're going to need to find center and tackle with the rest of this offseason and draft. We're staying on offense. Alan Lazard, Wide receiver, 26 years old, 3-year, $30 million deal. The Green Bay Packer wide receiver, 6'5", 230 pounds. Nasty blocker, a little over 800 yards, 6 touchdowns, catching balls from Aaron Rodgers. So a wide receiver 2 that you're paying a decent amount of money to, who's a good blocker but sometimes drop passes. Did we just replace Corey Davis with Corey Davis? Kind of, but look, we replaced Corey Davis with a Corey Davis that has played 15 games each of the last 2 seasons instead of missing half of the games. So availability is your best ability. Allen Lazard comes in to take the Z wide receiver role with Garrett Wilson as your wide receiver 1 and Elijah Moore still holding it down in the slot. Now I'm looking at the defensive side of the football. Our corners are great. Our defensive line's really good. We're going to do some work at linebacker and defensive line in the draft, but how about we strengthen our strength in that secondary? Jimmy Ward, safety, free safety. San Francisco 49ers, 31 years old, little long in the tooth, so we're going to give him a 1-year, $7 million deal. 5'11", 205 pounds. He's solid. He's not great. He's solid. He's not going to let anything get over his head. He's not going to whiff in the hole continuously. He gives us some stability at that free safety position. A little bit of a ball hawk, but a big upgrade from LaMarcus Joyner. And I'm looking at the rest of this money we have, this 17-18 million left, and I'm going to make kind of a win now move. I like Jimmy Ward. I love him paired with Jordan Poyer, safety, Buffalo Bills, 2 years, $19 million, 32 years old, one of the most versatile safeties in the NFL. He can play in the box. He can tackle. He can play the deep middle. He can cover man-to-man. The New York Jets now have the best secondary in the NFL by a wide margin. You pair that cornerback trio that is elite with a pair of veteran heady safeties that skill sets complement each other. Now we're cooking with some gas. All right, now we got about $6 million left. I'm going to make some depth signings with this $6 million. John Feliciano, center of the New York Giants, 30 years old. The Giants had him on a 1-year, $3.25 million deal. We're going to give him that same deal, and he can play in the same stadium. Is he good? No, he's not going to be our starter, but he's a better backup than Dan Feeney, and we're going to address center in the draft. When you have a rookie coming in starting, you want somebody with some solid starting experience. John Feliciano, he's a Jet. Now we're also going to get a player, a big body on the other side of the ball. Linval Joseph, 34 years old, defensive tackle, 2-gapper, man-eater, 6'4", 330 pounds, a big-bodied run defender that can come in, play a third of the snaps, and be an upgrade from Solomon Thomas. We're going to give him the 1-year, $2 million deal that he was playing on this year. We also cut Braden Mann. We're going to spend our final little bit of change on a punter, Bradley Pinion of the Atlanta Falcons. He's a slightly above-average punter, better than Braden Mann. There you have it. Now, let's get into the NFL draft. And if you're still here, if you want to hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. A lot goes into these videos, so I hope you're enjoying it, and that would be greatly appreciated. So the Jets have the 13th pick in the NFL draft. Now, the Jets have way less capital in the draft than they've had in previous off seasons with JD. I think this is a trade down and accumulate picks kind of draft. That's what we're going to do. The New York Jets got a call from their stadium buddies, the New York Giants. The Giants want to come up from 22 to 13. They want to be aggressive. They want a playmaker, get one of these top receivers off the board to pair with Daniel Jones. It's going to cost them pick 54 in the second round. So the Jets slide from 13 to 22. Now they have 2 second-round picks to work with this year. Pick 22, the pick is in. The New York Jets are going Anton Harrison, offensive tackle, Oklahoma, 6'5", 315 pounds. He's not nasty. He's not a road grader, but those top 3 tackles were gone when we were picking at 13. So now we move back, and we still get a really, really solid tackle with some extra draft capital to go with it. He reminds me a little bit of Charles Cross, honestly, who came out last year. Not quite as polished, but has all the tools to be a long-term answer at left tackle, and will compete with the embattled Mekhi Becton for the left tackle 1 spot in camp. Pick 2A, this is our pick. Now the Giants pick 44. We're going offensive line again. Center, John Michael Schmitz, Minnesota, 6'4", 320 pounds. Big body center. I don't want no 295-pound center. Give me a big boy at center. I like it. Best center in the class. We've patched this position with stopgaps since Nick Mangold. Connor McGovern was very serviceable, but we're not going to pay him $12 million. We're going to get a second-round pick center, and hopefully he's our long-term answer at the position. We pair him with John Feliciano, a veteran, and between the two of them, our center position is looking pretty good. Pick 2B. This is the pick we got from trading with the Giants. Felix Inudike, edge, 6'4", 255 pounds, 4'7", Not an elite athlete, wins more with power than bend and bag and all that. Who's that sound like? That sounds like Carl Lawson, who we want to replace. We add another young edge rusher to go with Jermaine Johnson, JFM, Bryce Huff, Michael Clemens, Robert Saleh is a happy man. Felix Inudike is a Jet. Round 3, offensive line. Again, Nick Broker, offensive lineman. Why just call offensive lineman? Because while he played the blind side at Ole Miss, 6'5", 315 pounds, some scouts see him at left tackle. Some scouts see him at right tackle. Some scouts see him sliding inside to guard. So he's going to come in, and he's going to be our break glass in case of emergency offensive lineman, a backup at multiple positions year 1, and then we'll see what position he fits into. He's a pipeline guy. Maybe he plays guard. Maybe he replaces Lakin Tomlinson in a year, but for starters, he is an injection of depth and versatility into an offensive line that desperately needs it. We can't spare any expense on the offensive line. 3 of our first 4 picks are going to the trenches in front of Derek Carr, Breece Hall, and company. Round number 4, we like Quincy Williams, but we also like us another linebacker, Demarion Overshown, Texas, 6'4", 225, long, speedy, rangy. Everything that Robert Saleh would like in that linebacker plug-in next to his Mike in the 4.25. Well, why is he a 4th-round pick? Well, honestly, he is a better athlete than a football player right now. Comes in, backup special teamer, year 1. We'll see what happens. We're going to develop him. Now, I really like that 6'4", those long arms, right? Quincy Williams, you like Quincy. Quincy Williams, 5'11", with alligator arms. I think that length will help us do something we haven't done in forever. Cover a tight end. Imagine that. That'd be nice. Maybe Overshown can do that if we develop him properly. We have 2 picks in the 5th round. Pick 5A. We're going with Jalen Moreno-Cropper, wide receiver, Georgia. 6 foot, 190 pounds, 4'5", 40. The opposite of Overshown, a better football player than athlete. A very accomplished Georgia receiver, 1,000-yard season, but doesn't quite have the tools or a high ceiling, as you will. Projected to be a backup, and I think he's going to be our backup slot receiver, replacing Braxton Berrios. Reminds me a little bit of Jet receiver, former Jet receiver, Jeremy Curley. Not the fastest, not the freakiest, but finds that soft spot in the zone. Nice hands. Jalen Moreno-Cropper is a depth wide receiver. We have one final pick, pick 5B. We're going Alfred Collins, defensive line, Texas, 6'5", 290. Can do a little outside, can do a little inside, kind of like Clemens and JFM, kind of a versatile defensive line piece. We lost Solly Thomas. We lost Carl Lawson. Vinny Curry. We did not bring back. So he's another guy. He's probably going to start by being like our 10th defensive lineman, maybe get some inactives. We'll develop him. We'll see where we're at. Now let's get into the depth chart. What's our squad looking like? Okay, quarterback. QB1, Derek Carr. QB2, Mike White. QB3, Zach Wilson is still simmering and resetting. We have a revamped offensive line. Left tackle, let's be optimistic. Let's say Mekhi Becton wins the job, and we have our first-round pick backing him up. Left guard, we have Lakin Tomlinson. Center, John Michael Smits. Right guard, we have Simialu from the Eagles. Right tackle, AVT. We also have nice depth in Becton, Max Mitchell, John Feliciano, Nate Herbig, and our third-round pick, Broker, holding it down as a backup in multiple positions. Running back, Breece Hall, whenever he's ready. Obviously, he's running back 1. Bam Knight, we like him. Running back 2, Michael Carter and Ty Johnson are running back depth. We'll see. After Bam Knight, you can put him in any order you want, but we're pretty good in the running back room once Breece is back. Wide receiver. Garrett Wilson is the X. Alan Lazard replaces Corey Davis as the Z wide receiver. Elijah Moore is still in the slot. Denzel Mims is the backup outside receiver. And then we have Jalen Moreno-Cropper. The rookie is going to be the backup slot and maybe find a role on special teams for him. The tight end room looking very similar. Conklin and Uzama are both back. Only difference is Jeremy Ruckert replacing Kenny Yeboah as tight end 3, a special teamer. Maybe we see some H-back or fullback out of Ruckert. That'd be nice. Defensive tackle. Quinnen and Rankins are both back, as is Nathan Shepard. Only swap there is Linval Joseph replacing Solomon Thomas. Our defensive ends, we got JFM and Jermaine Johnson back. I think Jermaine Johnson's ready for a starting role. Huff is still a dominant situational edge rusher. Michael Clemens and our rookie Unadike are the backups for now. We'll see. I think both of those two men have future starting potential, but we're deep at edge. It's a good problem to have. Our Mike linebacker is C.J. Mosley, backed up by Jamie and Sherwood. In our outside linebackers, we have Quincy, Quan Alexander, along with our rookie Demarion Overshown. The cornerback room is the exact same as last year. Isn't that nice to have a room where you didn't have to do anything from Sauce all the way down to Hall to Justin Hardy, who's pretty much just a special teamer. We got 2 new starting safeties. Our free safety room looking like Jimmy Ward, backed up by Tony Adams. And then our strong safety position is Jordan Poyer, backed up by Ashton Davis, our 4th-year safety. Kicker, Greg Zerloin. New punter, Pinion. And our kick returner, punt returner, Bam Knight is going to usurp Braxton Berrios in that role. Whew, we did it. How long did it take us? Just under 15 minutes. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Always fun to do. Again, subscribe if you're new. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. And we'll talk Jets football soon.